What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back to another episode of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. This is episode number 27, and in this episode we are going to be finishing up the Great Bay Temple. And I know this is only the third episode that we've actually been inside the temple, which really isn't that much considering it's a water temple and they're usually pretty long. So I have confidence that we're going to be able to finish it this time around. Mainly, we're basically just tasked with getting the rest of the fairies. I think maybe we have 5 more to get, maybe 6. I don't know. And then it depends on how long the boss fight will take us, but you know, the typical half-hour-ish episode, you know, I think we have plenty of time to get all that finished. So that's the plan for today. Yeah. Now, there is actually a fairy down here, so I'm going to get this. As we're getting started today, as always, just a friendly reminder in case you guys haven't done so already and you would like to show your support to the channel and the series and all that fun stuff, because we still have quite a bit of time left in this series. I know that this will be the completion of 3 out of 4 temples, but there's still quite a bit of things that we can do. So there's still a bit left. If you want to show your support, you know, it only takes a couple seconds to click that thumbs up button right below this video. It does help out when you guys do that, or you can leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Of course, I know there's not really a lot to comment on as far as this series is concerned, but whatever, you know, if you have anything you want to point out or something that you've you know noticed in the game or whatever, feel free to put that down there. So we have got a fairy down there, and this room is kind of interesting because it's, wow, I was not expecting that jumping saw kick to actually hit. But this room is interesting because we have kind of like a seesaw-ish type deal, and we're gonna have to utilize our ice arrows and fire arrows to create little waterfalls to move these platforms around, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. There are, you know, the choo-choos around the room, so you can fill up with arrows, magic, those kinds of things. So make sure you have your whole thing filled, so to speak. Especially because with the boss fight coming up, if you are following along, playing the game alongside me, the boss fight, you do kind of need arrows, at least the way I like to do it. Arrows are very important, so I would definitely save that. You don't need ice arrows. Interestingly enough, I know, it's weird. Normally you always use the dungeon item, but that is not the case in this boss fight coming up. So now that we've reached the top here, we can actually make this jump. I probably want the bunny hood just because I like the bunny hood. And we have reached another little platform here with the, well, there's a bomb chew over there. That leads me to believe that we can actually walk over there. I'll show you guys that in a second, but first let's kill him off. Shoot him with an arrow so he doesn't destroy our lives later on. Now this switch here is obviously for green current as far as the pipes are concerned. We haven't really seen much of the green, or what this actually does, is what I'm trying to say. We've hit a couple of these switches, but we haven't really seen what the green current is supposed to actually do. That is what is going to allow us to get into the boss room later on. So actually later on in this episode. So make sure we hit all these switches, of course. Now there actually is an optional fairy over here, and I say optional because, you know, you don't obviously have to get all of the fairies in order to beat the game, but if you put the Zora mask on, you're a little bit taller and you can actually jump on top of the pipes, walk along the side of the wall here, and voila, we've reached what appears to be somewhat of a secret barricaded area with 5 rupees in a jar. That's always exciting, but there is a treasure chest over there, and like we did earlier on in the temple, I'm going to go ahead and use our hook shots to bridge the gap, and we can get our 12th, okay, I was about to say 11th, but that is our 12th stray fairy, which means we only have 3 left. And that's actually kind of reassuring because, like I said at the beginning of the episode, that's really the only thing that we are trying to do here, trying to round up the fairies. I think we could actually just go to the boss room now, and we are slowly but surely working our way there. Now, that's pretty much everything that we needed to do in this room. But there's actually a fairy in the previous room, I think, that we need to go back and get. Now, there is, I think the other door in this room just is a roundabout way to get back into one of the previous rooms. It doesn't actually lead to something new, and you can't just run across it like that. I don't know why I even bothered to try that. I guess we can just see where it leads first and then head on back, because I'm not sure exactly what room it is. I know it's a room that we've previously accessed, but I won't know it until I see it. This temple is a little bit confusing sometimes. So let's go ahead and check this out. See where this door leads. And this should be, yep. Alright, this is where we got the dungeon map, I believe. Pretty sure that's what was in that chest right there. So we can go ahead and go back to the room that got us here, which was this one right here. Just run up here with our beautiful bunny hood, and we do have a fairy that we need to get in this room, which I probably should have gotten last time because I walked right past it, but you know. So, yeah, as you can see, the Great Fairy Mask is lighting up, which means it can only mean one thing. It just means that, you know, there's a fairy that we missed in here. And that will mark our 13th fairy. And at that point, I think we can actually go back to the main current room and visit the last room that we haven't been into yet. So I will just cut away when we do that because it's annoying to get back there. I mean, I guess I could just play the Song of Soaring, but whatever. I'm not going to make you watch all of that. Cutting is good sometimes, and it might save us some time in this episode to get this temple completed, because sometimes the boss fight, it's one of those things where sometimes it takes me a really long time, and sometimes I beat it in less than 5 minutes. So I don't know. We're gonna see, because I haven't played through this game in full in quite a long time. So we'll see if I have any rust when it comes to fighting the monster that we're gonna face in the boss room. I don't want to give it away in case you guys have not actually played through the game. Although this week, and I guess by the time you're watching this, it will be last week, but Nintendo did announce that they are remaking Majora's Mask for the Nintendo 3DS. And I don't know if I'm even going to bother to get it, because I'm not big on remakes so much. I enjoy the Pokemon ones because there's so much added new stuff, but the Ocarina of Time 3DS, that remake, it was great with the graphics improvement and everything, but there wasn't a lot of new content that was added, and there's really not much you can do to change that game to make it any better. It was just already an incredible game. Same thing with Majora's Mask. Already an incredible game. I don't think you can really top the Nintendo 64 version except for maybe the graphics, but I don't know. I'm not really one to judge. I probably just won't get it. So, why? Wow, I'm actually surprised that worked. I thought I was gonna have to stop everything, but I guess not. Now, as you can see on the map, there is a little dot, and that marks the treasure chest that we're gonna be needing to get, and it's right in that little alcove over there. So I wasted a whole bunch of time just talking about nonsense, basically. But we need to try to get over into that alcove, and the only way to do it is by having the water actually continue to move like it is now. So don't freeze that with your ice arrows. We're gonna need to get our hook shot out, and well, you can. Yeah, I'm misspeaking as I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing here at the same time. Now, once it gets to a certain point, you can freeze the water to make this a little bit easier, because you have to use your hook shot on a treasure chest that's in there. There, you can see where the treasure chest is. It's a really awkward angle, so there's a couple of ways you can do it. You could just do it on the move, or you could try to use the ice arrows to freeze it at the right point, so you're not trying to do it, you know, aim at the same time while you're moving, which is difficult. And you also cannot grab the torch that's in there, which it seems like that would be the thing that they would want you to latch onto, but you see it just bounces off. It's metal. You can't hookshot metal. So there we go. It does stop at one point, so that's the easiest point to do it, in my opinion. But there we go. There's a 13th stray fairy, and with that, we're going to head back to the main current room, and I will cut away, and then we'll finish up with those last couple of rooms. Alrighty, so we are back again here in the current room, with the current still flowing in the opposite direction, but we still have one room that we have not visited, and that is going to have at least one of the fairies, I believe. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. I know there's at least one. Actually, there might be two. Yeah. Okay, this is actually going to lead up to the boss room, I believe. So this should have both of the fairies that we're looking for. Here's one of them here, and this can be kind of difficult. Now, this will take you back to the main current room. You can try to swim through that, but I think it's easier to just use the boomerangs and keep shooting it until you get it. The bubble doesn't move that fast, so you're bound to get it, and you can try to swim through it again and all that stuff. But what I'm going to do is, now that he's out of the bubble, you can actually just go up onto land or any solid area and put on the Great Fairies mask, and it will just come to you. It might be slow, but it will happen, and you won't have to worry about missing it and trying to navigate your way back to this room. Not that it would take a long time, but I feel like this is just the easiest way to do it, so that's what I'm going to do. There we go, and then the last one will be right under this platform here. It's just a matter of getting to the point where we can actually see the bubble floating, and we can shoot it with an arrow. I think we can actually get it from here. Alright, so there we go. There's the 14th. And wow. Did I really just miss it all 3 times? This controller and my aim, both of which are contributing to me sucking right now. There we go. There's the 15th and final stray fairy of the temple, and the final water switch, or current switch, or whatever you want to call it. Since we've hit all of the other green ones in the temple, this will activate this little water spout right here, and we can jump across to where the boss room is. Finally, we have reached the end of the Great Bay Temple. We already got the boss key from the Mad Jelly and the Gecko in the last episode, so we are ready to go. And we are definitely going to complete this in this episode. We're only about 12 minutes in, so yeah. There's really nothing to do. Make sure you're stocked up as much as can be. I'm kind of not at that point with, you know, I lost some magic and I only have 37 arrows, but we're going to jump down this hole here and just see what we can do. See what we can do against the monster of the Great Bay Temple. And this is one of the harder boss battles in the entire game. Just because it's a little bit awkward, and a large portion of the fight is going to take place underwater, which is always difficult, especially if you're not good at maneuvering with the Zora mask. So that's why I suggested having arrows, because you can actually stun him from up on the platform here. And you'll see what I'm talking about, talking through this whole cutscene. There we go. Looks like a giant swordfish. Gargantuan masked fish, Gyorg. Now, I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong, but yeah. So I believe there's just arrows. I don't think there are even any hearts in these pots, so if you really need arrows, you can do that. I'm going to show you the easiest way, in my opinion, to defeat Gyorg. You can target him and just shoot him with an arrow. That will stun him. Then we can jump in the water with the Zora mask. What are you doing? There's no time to lose. Dive underwater and attack it. Okay, Tattle, thank you very much. So I don't want to really target him, but yeah, that was a little bit awkward. I was trying to untarget him, but I wasn't pressing the right button. So anyway, you can damage him after you stunned him. You can damage him with your force field, but it's very difficult to get back to the platform afterwards. He will eat you. He will swallow you up and spit you out, and that does like 2-ish hearts of damage. So that's kind of considerable, considering you're gonna have to hit him quite a few times. If he gets you every single time when you're trying to get out of the water, if you don't have as many heart containers as me, you will probably die. And he does that giant jumping thingamajiggy too. Now, you can also stun him with the boomerangs from up here, but it's a little bit more difficult. I prefer the arrows just because of the range, and you can potentially stop him from ramming the platform that you're on. Now, that's the easiest way to not get damaged, is to kind of just do a flyby, go all the way around the platform, and as you can see, we're about as far away as possible, and then we'll be free to get back onto the platform that way. You can also do the dolphin jump, but it's a lot harder to execute, and if you fail and ram into the side when you're trying to jump up, he will most likely eat you, and then it's just going to be a sad time. So there we go. We're going to get him for the 3rd time here. And this might activate the... Yeah, it is going to activate the next stage of the fight. He's almost dead at this point. I think we only have to hit him 5 times. Something like that. Now he's going to release all of these little mini Gyorgs, which will swim after you. And I'm getting swallowed up. That was not good. That was not good. You cannot outrun him. So if he sees you, if you can't, like, immediately dolphin jump like so onto the platform, you're going to get eaten. Even as a Zora, you're not going to outswim him. Now, the little mini Gyorgs will give you hearts. So that's really the only way to get hearts. in this this fight if you really need them. So you can just use your force field, and then you have to figure out a way to actually get the hearts without getting eaten as well. So that's kind of difficult. But there you go. That's pretty much all there is to this entire battle, really. And there are a couple of other ways to do it. Like I said, this is probably the easiest way that I could think of. And I'm pretty sure we only have to hit him 1 or 2 more times. Although we have lost half of our hearts, so we do kind of need to be careful here a little bit. Kinda. Let's see, this might be the last time. I don't know. Let's do a flyby. Yep, that is actually gonna be it for Gyorg. So we actually... we got through that very, very easily, and I think we actually had an easier time of that than we did with Goat, or Got, however you want to say it, from the Snowhead Temple, which I think is a lot easier than this fight is supposed to be. I don't know. Let's see what's in these. Yeah, it is just arrows. That's what I thought. We're going to pick up the heart container to give us another little heart there. And that is always good. We have to pick up Gyorg's remains. You have just freed the innocent spirit that this dark mask had kept imprisoned within the body of evil Gyorg. Alright. Well, there we go. 3 out of 4 temples complete. The hardest one is yet to come. Unfortunately, I think we've already faced the hardest boss battle. And I know I kind of made that look easy. But, well, maybe not easy because I did lose half my life. But... you'll find that if you're actually playing this game, that specific boss battle can be very difficult. Hey, listen, we want you to lend us your power. If you just leave things as they are, something terrible will happen to this world. This is Tattle talking, of course. Surely you're the only ones who can stop it. That's what Tattle was trying to tell us before he was, you know, imprisoned, basically, by Skull Kid. Help our friend. I'm guessing that's friend. Yes. So there's one more that we have to rescue. One more spirit that's trapped inside the boss of the Stone Tower Temple. That's going to be our next destination. But we have some things that we can do in Akana Canyon. We have some side quests that we can now finally complete. A majority of the remaining optional heart containers will be available now. So we have a lot to do, probably a lot more side quest episodes. I don't know if you guys like those or not, but that's pretty much what's going to be on the horizon. Now I can continue resting in peace. I too must abide the laws of ancient times and again merely watch from my deep slumber. Well, okay then, I guess he's going back to sleep. But the evil that haunts this land has not completely vanished. Cullination, I shall depart after enjoying Lulu's voice a bit longer. I think the gods can permit that. Now, nothing really changes. I know in some of the other temples, you know, things change, obviously, once you defeat it. Like, springtime comes to the mountains and things like that. Speaking of which, we have some side quests coming up because, remember, we had to don Garrow's mask in the last episode and talk to that frog. We have to free the rest of the frogs from their locales and get that heart piece. So there's a couple things that we need to do before going back in time, including getting our reward for collecting all the fairies. I'm going to stop here, even though this is a bit of a short episode, so we will jump on that next time. And I don't know if we'll actually even make it to Akana Canyon next time, but that is on the horizon. A lot of things still to get to, so that is very exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please make sure you're leaving a like rating or a comment or whatever you would like to do, and I will see you all next time. But until then, game on.